Thank you for joining us for our second round of training. The topic we're covering this time is routines. My name is Sandra Contreras, and I'd like to welcome you again. What will you learn during this presentation? Why routines are important, why they're good for children and families, how to create a routine that supports my family, and how to manage a routine when life gets crazy. You may ask, why have a routine? When a child has a routine instead of a schedule, they learn to mentally and emotionally prepare themselves for their day. They'll learn the morning expectations and what helps them to prepare each night before they go to sleep, whether it be a glass of warm milk, listening to music, or like I did with my children, we had story time every evening after their bath. In the long run, having a routine prepares them to be more independent, and that's what you really want for your child, is for them to be able to independently take care of a lot of the things in their routine. This will happen when you have a predictable home environment, and having a predictable home environment really helps children feel safe and that you're looking after them and they're helping you look after their environment. It helps them to better cope with changing events that we cannot avoid sometimes for our children, such as illness, divorce, having a new sibling, or something as simple as moving. So what's so great about having a routine? A routine can help your family life run more smoothly, and everybody wants that. It can help you with having more family time. And how this works is that you'll have more time for your family in a more positive way when you have a routine, because everyone knows what's going to happen next or when things are going to happen. And I know that this can't be consistently every day, but as often as possible. It's going to reduce your stress. You're going to be calmer, which in turn is going to um, cause your home to be more calm. And your children will be more calm because there won't be your urgent need to get things done because you're so stressed out about it and about what's coming up and what should be happening and what the kids aren't doing or what they're doing and in turn, it's going to bond your family closer together. You're going to be working as a team. And because the stress is reduced and the household is calmer, it's going to bring you all closer together. You'll have more time for the good times. You might ask yourself, what's the difference between a routine and a schedule? Well, the routine, for instance, is more flexible. For example, let's say you'll take the time from the time that your child wakes up to adjust when they'll take their nap. If you want them to have a nap every 3 hours, then you're going to base that from the time they wake up, not on what time of day it is. Um, the schedule, a schedule is set around time, which means if you want your child's nap to be at 2 p.m., then that means he needs to be asleep at 2 p.m. So a routine is going to give you that flexibility, where a schedule is a little tighter and a little more rigid, which really is tough on the family. It's tough on the child because there's things that come up that, if you want your child to be down at every day at noon, but they have a day that they don't wake up until 9, so they may not be sleepy at noon, but that's going to be the schedule that you have them on. And so you're going to be stressed about it. The child's going to fight you on it because they're not tired. Um, with a routine, uh, you can just be flexible with your child. They know that it's going to happen, but it doesn't have to happen at exactly 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock. It's going to be something that you will flex around their needs, but at the same time, it's going to be very regimented. For instance, what does a routine look like for infant, toddlers, and preschoolers? For an infant, they pretty much set their own routine because you're going to be respond to their needs as they come up. You can't very well put a infant on a schedule per se or set up a routine that is going to be very rigid because their needs are very different. Now, as we get into the toddler age, you can offer more of a routine, such as what time they get ready in the morning and the steps that are taken to get them ready, um, and like eating meals, the time of day that you feed them in the morning before you go come to school or go to work, the time that you spend together, reading books, telling stories, having quiet time, getting ready for bed. Those are the kind of routines that you want to implement with a toddler that they'll respond to really quickly. With preschool, you have a little more flexibility because they're able to understand more and to do more, such as with the toddlers, getting ready in the morning, meal times, bath time, bed times. But with the preschooler, you can include small chores, helping you with the housework, folding laundry, what time they go outside, outdoor playtime, indoor playtime, whether it's with you or with friends. So, the routine can be set around these types of things that really help them get comfortable with what you're going to implement. What makes a good routine? Um, it should be well planned, regular, and predictable. What I mean by well planned is that with a good routine, everyone knows their role and what they need to do. Explaining this has to be done at an age appropriate level. You can't have expectations for a child to do something that's way beyond their age level. And if you're not sure about what that looks like for your child, check with your family coach and they'll be able to explain to you what is appropriate for your child. Um, but well planned um, means that everybody knows their role and what they need to do in that role. So example, your child or your children know who takes their bath or shower first. When you have more than one child, that can be an argument every night unless they take a bath together. But they'll know that, and you won't have that drama. You might have it, but in reality, they really do know who's going first. And what I mean by regular in a routine is that it becomes a part of everyday life in the family. It's a regular thing that happens every day. I mean, every day or every day of that week. For example, on Fridays, pizza night, and the family watch an appropriate movie that's appropriate for everybody. And they know that this is going to be on Friday. This happens with this family. Predictable. Everything happens in the same order each time. Like with the bath time. Yes, you could switch it up and let somebody else go first or do it differently, but it's going to cause an uproar, especially if it's something that you've been doing for a while. And then, when you have it predictable, everybody knows what to expect that day. There's no surprises because life already has enough surprises. So if you have a predictable routine in your household, that's going to alleviate what I talked about earlier in the slides before, that the stress level will be lower. Um, an example of predictability is on Saturday, we do laundry for the next week. Everyone knows that this is what we do on Saturday. We do laundry on Saturday morning. It's expected, it's most often completed, and that's what makes the family function so well. So now that you know what a routine looks like, how do you get started? Well, you make sure your child knows what you want him to do and when you want him to do it. Talk to your child about routines and rules and have him to repeat them back to you. If you and try not to give them too many, give them one or two at a time, depending on their age level. With a toddler, it's going to be probably one until they get comfortable with it. With a preschooler, you can do 2 to 3, but I would really start with 2. You talk to your child about it, about the routine and the rules, and when you have them to repeat it back to you, you know that they have a clear understanding of the expectation. You can use simple charts with pictures to visually display the routines and the rules. Some parents like to use that, others don't. It's up to you. And you want to keep in mind that young children often need reminders, and that's where the simple charts and the pictures could be effective, and that the rules can and should be repeated often because this is a new behavior. This is something new you're asking them to do. So reminding them and repeating it gently will help them do it because they want to please you. They want you to be happy, and they want to be happy. So reminders like routine and rule charts can be placed in locations where your child can see them often and refer to them, and you can add little treats to them. They can put stickers on them, or they can help you create them, whatever makes them happy. With infants and toddlers, just being consistent in how you do things and when you do things will be valued more than anything else. And the routine will become their norm because this is the way you do it, and they'll be very clear on how it's done. It may seem a little challenging at first to begin having a set routine, especially if it has not been something that you have been able to accomplish in your family unit. But the main thing is don't give up. Um, Everything takes practice, and there's no right or wrong way to do this. But as long as you're consistent um, with your routine rules and you let the child know that you expect them to be followed, they need to know that you're serious about it, and rules are consistently enforced. But routines can be flexible. So you can have rules around the routines, but the routines can be flexible. Like we normally take bath time at 7 or 8, but on Friday nights we stay up a little later so they can take it later or not at all until Saturday morning. But if there's going to be changes to the routine, you need to let your child know about the changes if you have time to do that. Even if it's not, they don't know about it in advance, you can let them know that it's happening because they need to have that feeling of security, and when they don't know what's going on, they start to feel insecure. Rules should be enforced the same way no matter who's caring for your child. So if the grandparents have them or babysitters, they need to be following the same routine and rules that you have to provide a consistent message. And they should be consistent as much as possible. If the grandparent or the babysitter or someone is not following the rules, you probably will need to reiterate what your expectations are. And if there are not consequences to your child following the routine or the rules, they're not going to take it seriously. So there should be consequences that are age appropriate, not something, they shouldn't feel like they're in trouble, but they should know that you're very serious about it. Working as a team within a family is always a great idea. It brings that family unit closer together because they know that they're all on the same team. So all family members should try to follow the routine and the family rules. This just sets the stage for success. When everyone is on board and following the routine and the rules, everyone's going to be happier for it. There won't be so many disruptions in the day and stress and confusion, and everyone's irritated, and you really want everything balanced. And I think when you work as a team and everybody's following the routine and the rules, that you'll see that type of progress. Now, there's going to come a time when your child or children may not want to follow the routine or the rules. So you just support them through it, let them know that this is how we do it, this what works for our family, and just reminding them that this is how we do it. There's going to be times when you are going to, just let it slide every now and then, but don't let that become a habit. They need your support to be successful with the routine or the rules of your household. Now, there's going to be times when you're going to come home from work, or you're going to have a day that's just been the worst and you're going to be tired and stressed out. So it's going to be difficult for you to follow the routine, but try to stick with it as much as possible. If there's a time when you go a couple days and the routine's been off, go back to what was working, because if you do this, you're going to see a huge change in the way the dynamics in your household are going. You're going to be happier and less stressed and able to actually enjoy your children and find time to enjoy them. So you may be asking yourself, well, how do I start this routine and build it into our daily schedule? For example, for infants do not require a visual schedule, which is obvious. They set their own schedule, and we kind of follow their routine and their schedule. You can use a schedule as a reminder for other caregivers that may be caring for your child in your absence, but the schedule for when you want them bathed, or when you want their diaper checked or changed, just to, for example, if your child has had a diaper rash and you want it changed more often than when typically a child lets you know when they're uncomfortable, then you can add that to a schedule. But a visual schedule, no, that's not going to work for a child. But having your routine established within how you do things is going to center around um, what your infant's needs are. And that's probably the most you're going to be able to do with that. As shown on the chart, these are examples of different types of routines that others have set up for their toddlers. There's layout A, B, and C. Layout A shows a morning checklist of how this child by the name of Howie, how his day goes, and they check things off one at a time. Now, I wouldn't suggest putting that many on there, but I think gradually starting with one or two would be appropriate. Or better yet, if the checklist is for you to look at, and for others to help you with that morning, um, getting ready in the morning, that's totally appropriate. The next one is a bedtime checklist, which I thought was really cute because it checks off the whole routine of what's going to happen, and the child's going to be able to go over and cross out whatever it is that they've just completed, and this kind of helps them get their mindset on going to bed. And the next one, layout C, is a morning checklist that is weekly. The first one was a daily for morning, and the second was a bedtime checklist. But this weekly one has the days of the week on it and various routine items listed. So it's basically what works for your family. It doesn't have to be anything elaborate like this, but it's just getting started and continuing and being consistent with having a routine for your child. So any way that you choose to do it and that you want to do it is perfectly fine. The main thing is being consistent with it, that it's something that's sustainable, that you're able to continue doing on a daily basis. The preschool example for a routine chart is a little more basic, not quite as detailed, but it, says it has chores included, like making the bed, um, washing their face, putting their toys away, things that they can be responsible for, which will in turn help them to become more independent in their day. Everything on here is independent learning. Making your bed, getting dressed. It's time for you to eat your breakfast. You go wash your face after and brush your teeth, and you brush your hair. The evening routine is put your toys away before bed, take your bath, put on your pajamas, comb your hair, brush your teeth, go to the bathroom, and then I'm going to read you a book. It's very explanatory. It has pictures, it has the words, and it is a morning and an evening routine. This one's very basic, but it's also very detailed. It really guides the child on what is expected of them. And you reiterating the expectations that I need you to go look at your chart. What are we going to do next? Is going to really help them gain the independence of taking care of themselves and being responsible. And at this age, they really are trying to gain that independence. And this is a safe way to let them begin to have that independence, because that's what they're striving for, and that's what you really want for them. As hard as it is to let go, but it's really important that they learn this independence and learn and have a sense of self and what they're capable of doing. It can be a really beautiful experience for you and your child. Having a routine is important for family stability and balance, but it does not always have to be related to work. Routine is not all work and no play. Within a routine, you can include fun family activities and special activities that are coming up, holidays, celebrations, getting excited to go to grandma's, or even just taking a walk together, spending some one-on-one time or group time with your child or children. Just making it fun is going to be important. Even the part of the routine that is work can be fun. Bath time can be fun, although it's part of the routine and they may not want to clean up their toys to go take their bath, but you can make it fun by adding bubble bath to the water and throwing some rubber duckies in, or whatever your child loves, or getting some of those soap crayons, different things like that that just can bring joy to some of the smallest routine things that you're doing. Just being consistent, and if the adult is relaxed about it and is serious about it and doesn't take it so seriously that it becomes a burden to all involved, the routine should go smoothly, and there should be fun activities just in it without you even trying to put it in there. Going to the laundromat, doing laundry at home, having them help you sort through things, and making it a fun game. As you see in the picture down here, the family's washing the car together and they're squirting each other and just having fun. If the routine is that we wash the car on Sundays, then make it fun. Get everybody in on it together. Just being joyful and playful and having a good time can really make or break a routine. Well, we're going to put it all together. The main objective is to stay consistent. Make sure your routine is well planned. It's something that happens regularly and the child can predict it. Making sure that the expectations of your child are age appropriate, and that the routine that you set up is not something that is going to stress you out. The purpose of having a routine is to provide you more time to be emotionally and physically present with your family, to have less drama that is involved with day-to-day activities, and for you to enjoy each other and that you will have time to enjoy each other. Remember to set the boundaries, to let the child know ahead of time, if you can at all, do it ahead of time that something's going to change and that the routine will be different. If not, when you realize that it is, let the child know also. Remember, when you have a routine and it's set into your schedule, you are going to be flexible. There's going to be times when you cannot follow through with every single thing on that routine, but you can stay as consistent as possible. Because if it's a regular routine, then it's going to be with no effort. It's just, this is the way we do things, this is how our family functions, and the child will learn that this is how our family is ran. And making sure that babysitters and relatives and grandparents understand that this is how your family functions and this is what works for you, and that you need them to respect that. And that's how you set your boundaries. You are the parent, you are your child's first teacher, and you are valued by your child. And what you do with them and how you do it with them is going to last them a lifetime. So I'm hoping that you understand that when you put it all together, being consistent, well planned, it's regular and predictable, that you're going to have some really good outcomes, but you have to stick with it. It's not going to happen overnight. It takes 6 weeks to learn a new behavior. Give yourself that time. Cut yourself some slack. Don't be so rigid and hard on yourself about getting it together to where it becomes a burden on you. You can do this. I know you can, and I know that you'll be glad that you did. I would like to thank you for watching this presentation. If you have any questions or concerns or needs, please reach out to your family coach. We are here for you. They are filled with a wealth of knowledge to support you. And if there's anything more that you need or other topics that you need more information on, please let your family coach know, because we are all here to serve you and your family to be the best that you can be. Thank you very much.